Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to another video, and I really hope you're doing well out there. Today should be pretty short and sweet. I just got a batch of these SCCY CPX-1s chambered in 9mm that came in. This isn't a new model by anything, but kind of a new package that SCCY had put out. So I thought it would be really interesting to show what these guns are including now and how they're coming. So again, it's the SCCY, it's the CPX-1. You've probably already seen them before. Really good price point type of weapon, stays in that real budget friendly zone. Well, now they're including the Crimson Trace CTS-1500 red dot that comes in a 3.5 MOA with the purchase of these CPX-1. So it's coming optic ready, and it's coming with the optic from Crimson Trace. So what I did is I had a batch of different colors come in. I just grabbed two. One already came mounted, or one we mounted, and I'm going to show how it normally comes unmounted. So when you first open up the box, this is what you're going to get. So here's your box here, and here's how it comes. You'll notice it's optic ready. It's got the optic cut there, and the big noticeable thing is there's no plate. So this is pretty much purely set up for the red dot. You do not have an extra plate that this thing comes with. Maybe they'll offer one at some point. But at this time, you just get the optic and no plate to cover that if you didn't want to run the optic. And in there, you'll get the optic here, a couple extra base plates for your magazines. It does come with two, so if you want to run with that flush base plate, you can. And then your second mag's going to be in that little pouch there. So on this purple one here, I went ahead and mounted up this Crimson Trace red dot, and so you can kind of get a glimpse of it in there. Pretty standard kind of like, I'm assuming this is more of like a micro red dot, kind of in that shield, that Romeo Zero type of category. I'm not sure how this looks like it might line up with maybe the shield. I don't think it's going to line up with that Romeo Zero, but I think it does line up with the shield, or maybe it does with the Romeo, and I'm just not thinking of that properly. But you can kind of get an idea of what that footprint looks like right there by checking that out. But what's really cool is that these are going to be, right around that $350, depending on where you're at. I mean, that's a pretty good price for a nice 9mm that's coming with a red dot. Now again, the standard gripes are going to come with these SCCYs. The super long trigger pull, because it's a hammer fired, so it's double action only. But the nice part again is, hey, staying in that price range, you get the safety here on the CPX-1s, the thumb safety. It is a ambidextrous thumb safety, which is pretty cool. Quick specs of the gun, you might already know it. There's not a lot to talk about here, but it's a 3.1 inch barrel. It's going to be a 10 round capacity, and that unloaded weight puts it a little over a pound at 17.5 ounces unloaded. So not a bad carry option. Pretty good for someone with maybe a little bit of a bigger grip. It's a pretty wide grip. So if you have smaller hands, these tend not to be too comfortable. However, for some people, they're almost the perfect fit, just because everything else doesn't give them that grip they're really desiring. And then having that extra little plate there on the magazine definitely helps out quite a bit. Real quick too, I forgot to mention with the Crimson Trace red dot, it does have what they're claiming is a 20,000 hour battery life, along with an auto dimmer setting. So I notice it sits down for a while. There's no on and off button on these things. So it's just gonna stay on until you set it down. It's supposed to dim down on its own. And then when you pick it up, it's gonna turn back on. And that's supposed to keep it at that 20,000 hour battery life. Hope to save that more. And then with these, you'll notice if you do want to change the battery out, it's going to have to come off. Here's the bottom of one here that came with that black one. You'll have to unmount it, put the new battery in, and then remount it. So something to keep in mind if you've been thinking about a red dot and you didn't want to commit to a larger price point yet, this might be a cool option to get your feet wet, try it out, see if it's something you might be interested in, and maybe it's something that you end up sticking with. So they're just kind of following the trend of these new type of carry guns that are running these electronic holographic red dot sights. So again, guys, just wanted to show that quickly. might have been something you haven't seen yet. Maybe it's something you've been thinking about, so now you can kind of get a little bit of a bigger view of the gun and see what that sight looks like from the back, just in case your dealer doesn't have one nearby or you're only finding them online. Things are scarce, so as we're seeing them, I like to put them in front of you. So guys, thank you so much again for tuning in. I really appreciate all the comments and talking, going back and forth with you guys. So if you need anything at all, please reach out anytime, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.